Alright guys, here we go with another video from Torpid. Today, we've got an interesting one. It's me analysing one of my own matches that I played about 2 weeks ago against DarkHero. And so I do know what happened in this game, though I shall say that I haven't yet gone back and analysed the replay. So I'm going to do this in procedures. I might pause it sometimes to stop it. I actually really want to see how he pulled off the strategy that he did against me, because it was a very unique strategy, and I can tell you now, pretty much everyone who plays this game, except from DarkHero, if they pulled off this strategy against me, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm very, very curious as to how it did. I will preface by saying that I think that Chaos and Space Marines are the two weakest heroes, the two weakest races in this game, and that the Plague Champion is the best hero out of all 6 that are in that race. However, in spite of that, the Plague Champion is still weak to the Farseer and the Warlock of Eldar. Eldar, I think, are one of the better races. So that's just something to keep in mind whilst we're going through and analysing this replay. If I was playing myself, I would lose as the Plague Champion against the Farseer. But what makes this interesting is DarkHero is not playing this in accordance to the meta. If he played this totally meta and beat me, this was just a random, non-competitive game, just a friendly match. In the middle of a stream, I was doing multiple different games. Obviously, I'm going to have losses, right? Especially if it's a matchup that favours him. It wouldn't pique my interest so, but this does. So let's get it started and you'll see why. And I don't know exactly, I mean, look, he's even AFKing a little bit at the start of the game, really giving me as much advantage as possible, and I still managed to fuck it up. But, oh yeah, I went random, hence playing a Plague Champion and having Cornet-looking heretics, which is just disgusting. Wow, look at this. This is crazy to start with. He didn't go for his natural power at the start. He just completely ignored it. Straight away, that's really interesting. There's a lot of mind games here. So typically, you're going to expect someone to go there. And often, a strategy that I do on this map is I try and get the contested powers as soon as possible. So if I've got a fast unit, for example, if I was playing as the Farseer, that's my fast unit because I have the Fleet of Foot, I'll send them out, and I will send them to this as soon as possible from his spawn. And if I was on my side and I had the fast unit, sorry, I said that wrong. If I was on DarkHero's spawn, I send it to the other side that the natural power isn't at. So I send a unit to capture the natural power, and then the Farseer would rush down here. On the other hand, from my side, I'm going to rush this one with my fast unit. But he doesn't. So basically, I'm having my Plague Champion go over here in anticipation that he'd have the fast unit there, the Farseer, and then the combination of the ticks and the Plague Champion can deal with that quite handily. But he doesn't. So I'm a little bit confused at this point, because I've not realised that he hasn't gone for 2 Dire Avengers. So I'm expecting at any point to be jumped by a horde of Eldar. And I know that the Banshees have yet to be forced off, therefore I'm trying to keep my heretics together, because whilst 2 heretics are together, the Banshees cannot do anything. When the heretics split up, the Banshees will they'll kill best part of 6 heretics without losing a single model, so it's just an awful engagement to even put yourself into. So obviously he's not attacked me. What am I going to do? I'm going to go for his gen farm. I'm a little bit worried that he's gone for the typical only getting Dire Avengers and Banshees and dropping down triple generators at the start. And that's quite a common thing that Eldar will do. It's something that I do a lot when I play Eldar. But he hasn't. And then I realised, oh, he's not got generators because he's got 2 Banshees. And he even throws away the Dire Avengers here, which is just pure miss micro on his behalf. Really, really sloppy. And I completely forgot about that. Wow, I had such an advantage in this game. It is really something to behold. really easy heal from there, just ensuring that I don't get even a single model of bleed. And then of course the Banshees can just split up, one of them going after the CSM one against the Plague Champion, and I can't do anything. But that's fine, there's no serious threat here. Now I've gone for fast Raptors. I'm not sure what I was building previously, or why I cancelled it if that was Raptors, maybe it wasn't. I think maybe what a good idea here might have been to go for the Aspiring Champion Heretics. Then again, I still would have lost this fight here because it was double Banshees and he had the Spirit Stones, which he rushed, quite interestingly. I think another thing I should have realised, after seeing both the Banshees here and the Dire Avengers in the centre, all of his forces were in this location, I needed to get this as soon as possible to deny DarkHero the additional power income. So I'm getting that fast Eternal War because I want to try and bleed as many Banshee models as possible, as well as kill that Farseer a bit faster. I'm actually quite concerned that the Farseer is going to get Fortune as well, just make herself really tanky. Oh yeah, I went for Fetid and Blight, which was a bit of an experiment, and I don't think it really paid off. You can see how long Fetid actually does suppress for, it's quite substantial. Really wish I had the Aspiring Champion before taking this engagement, to be honest, and not having them results in me losing that Heretic squad, which definitely sets me back. Unfortunately, had a bit of a staggered jump there as well, which is, well, it means I don't catch up to the Rangers and I don't force them off, so now these Raptors are kind of in deep water, not doing a whole lot. Do get the Aspiring Champion on the other Heretic though, not before time. But at this point he's stabilising and he's... I mean, I have the better part of the map patrol for the most part, especially in terms of the victory points. But it's difficult. His units are steadily getting better and better, and remember my Heretics aren't going to scale very well. In fact, my CSM in this matchup will not scale very well. They're not going to do well against Banshees in Tier 2. They don't do well ever against Rangers, unless they go Corn Marines, but I'm not going to do that against double Banshees. Speak, and our group will obey. So he goes for another Raptor model kill. Really good foresight in his behalf to get into the retreat path for that. Doesn't get the kill, but they're going to be healing in base for a long time, and now the map control starts to turn on its head. I really needed to decap this for sure. That's half a generator that he's had in addition to the triple gens that he's had for the vast majority of the game. I can guarantee you now he got the triple gens up before I got my triple gens up. I'm not sure the usage of the Fetid and the Blight was really worth it. I don't get any substantial usage for it later on in the game. But it was an experiment. It is certainly not anything meta. I think I use it in this upcoming engagement to quite good effect against the Farseer. Yeah. You can see just how long it suppresses for though. It's incredible. Look, she's still suppressed. This has been well over 10 seconds. And prior to retreating, she was still suppressed. It's a good ability. It's a good ability. So it lasts for about 12 seconds. It applies the courage damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. And increases the health by 150. It's decent for only 20 power. But I feel like maybe I needed a 5th squad. Raptors get a good jump on the Rangers there. Bit of a mishap on DarkHero's behalf to not have the Shuriken a little bit further forward. So I managed to jump the Rangers without the Shuriken covering them. But yeah, look at this. He's gone to Tier 2 so much sooner than me, and it's not like I'm floating. I do not have the requisition. Yet in spite of that, he's got 5 squads and I've only got 4. Not only have I only got 4 though, these two are really not going to scale very well, nor are these. So I'm in a bit of a dubious position. And he chooses to put down an additional generator here as well. Like, he's not bleeding at all. He threw away those Dire Avengers, which was definitely a mistake on his behalf, but they as a result, have never bled because they've been dead. You can't bleed if you're dead. And the Banshees haven't bled at all. I don't think he's ever reinforced a Ranger model. They've only lost this one, which, as you can see, he's not reinforced. I shouldn't really be taking this engagement, not while I'm suppressed. So he lost one Howling Banshee, and I'm probably going to lose this entire Heretic squad. Yep, I do. So again, you see, I'm just bleeding. And he's not. He's choosing to get out of these engagements really early. He didn't bleed anything there. Those Rangers were already on 2 out of 3 models. The Shuriken bled nothing. The Farseer is the one who sticks in the engagements and really delays me while he's going around getting a lot more map control. Note how these Banshees do not even have their aspects. I think I needed to secure these contested powers earlier on and node them for myself, just to deny him the requisition income. And then I don't know, I needed to recognize the triple generators that he dropped after getting the double Banshees. So I'm just going to pause it here because this is where something gets really interesting. So I just need to collect my thoughts for a second. You see, DarkHero hits tier 2, and he goes straight at this point, straight into tier 3. How mental is that? That doesn't happen very often. He doesn't even get an infantry squad. I'm pretty sure at this point he hasn't even fully upgraded the Banshees. In fact, he hasn't even got the aspect on this Banshee squad. Where's the other one? Oh, they're down here. And of course, while it's paused, you can't click this. He hasn't even got the aspect on this Banshee squad either. So we're seeing him go for tier 3 without even upgrading the aspect on either of the Banshees. If this isn't domination, I don't know what is. So I've just hit tier 2, and I feel like, okay, he's gone for a 5 squad tier 1. I must be in a decent position right now. I must not have a huge tech deficit. So I'm going to get a Dreadnought, and I'm going to push up the side with all of my army, and get a full gem bash off against him. And then I'm going to consolidate mid. I'm probably going to drop down a turret, maybe a Nurgle Shrine, really get defensive, and just grind this game out. Bleed him out, and slowly win. But of course, that's not going to work, because he's going tier 3. But yeah, this is what's incredible is how he managed to get to this position in the first place. He even built this generator for me, which he couldn't even end up holding. So that was probably a mistake on his behalf. But in spite of that, it doesn't matter. He's just way ahead. Absolutely no requisition, but the real problem here is just the scaling of my units isn't effective. I needed more. The Chaos tier 2 is completely fine against the Eldar tier 2, but you need to have a lot of investment. These Banshees have no upgrades. I just want to stress that. Quite often people will feel like the Banshees are combat ineffective if they don't have the aspect. Clearly not. Okay, so the Dreadnought probably gives him a bit of a fright. He doesn't want to bleed, so he retreats everything out. Fair enough. I get one range model there. He annoyingly nodes this again to deny me the generator, which is a good play on his behalf. But honestly, my concern at this point is just requisition. Look at the goddamn wreck income of both of us. 302 to 164. 184. Just... man. It's not even close. And I'm behind on VPs as well. To be honest, looking at this now, I'm just in such a dreadful position. I'm not even sure how I ended up holding on as long as I did. I'm a little bit curious to see how that works out. But yeah, I'm just having the classic problem of the Plague Champion right here. Everything is really slow. So I'm taking so long to consolidate my position and get everything back. And because of that reason, I felt like I couldn't leave this generator here because I wouldn't be able to contest it if it got to a situation where I need to constantly be playing some sort of capping game with him. So I just destroyed it with the Dreadnought. Now I know better than to leave my Dreadnought out in the open on its own. So I pull it back, suspecting the potential AV. Note the guide on the Bright Lance. Look at the gigantic range on that, man. Incredible. Fortunately, didn't have sight on the Dreadnought there, so I didn't lose quite as much HP. I'm going to go for the Corn Dread, just to make them a lot better against the Banshees in the event of them getting the Aspect and the Exarch. Okay, and we see the Time Field, which is... essentially, at this point, what he's done is he's rushed Tier 3 and rushed Time Field. I wonder if the Dreadnought purchase that I went for is a reason for that. I wonder if he'd have gone for something different if I didn't get the Dreadnought. If I went, for example, with like Plague Marines or Bloodletters, maybe he'd have gone just for a Seer Council. Probably. But of course, a Seer Council wouldn't be very effective against a Dreadnought. So instead he's opted for the Time Field. Now I really need to win this engagement. It's a key engagement. I've gone all in with the Dreadnought using the Blood Rage, so I've also used Touch of Nurgle. I kind of mess up here because I don't actually manage to get the wipe on either of the Banshee squads, nor the Farseer, which really is a miss micro on my behalf. But I do win the engagement, which is quite crucial. So now I can start to really consolidate, start to bleed my opponent, even get a Gem Bash, but honestly, at this point it doesn't really matter. Of course, I don't realise that he's already so far ahead. I mean, I've seen Time Field, so I know he's in Tier 3, but god, he's in Tier 3, he's got Time Field, and he's got 100 power in the bank. Like, compared to me, he's just so far ahead. Now, I was a little bit late there going for my Tier 3, which is a failure on my behalf, but yeah, oh, he used the Global Call-In at this point to get the Seer Council, and I think that's probably going to be the end of my Raptors. I missed my Blight Grenade, and because I didn't realise that the Seer Council were there, because I was just looking out for the Banshees, yeah, everything's just really bad right now. So, didn't realise the Seer Council were there, jumped the Bright Lance with the Raptors, and then that resulted in them dying to the Seer Council, and I think at this point I end up losing the Corn Dreadnought as well. And I activated Blood Rage because I assumed that he'd be safe because the Bright Lance would be forced off by the Raptors. Once again, we see the guided Bright Lance, and look at the fucking range on that. Jeez, that's so strong. So that results in a dead Corn Dreadnought. All due to not seeing that council. And at this point, I don't have much. I'm just trying to get the decap while I can, but it's not going to change much. Compositionally, what have I got? CSM that are just, they don't do anything against the Banshees. I did kill one of the Banshees at some point. I guess that was here? But it's not like it really matters. He has Seer Council now to replace them, so it's too late. This game was already over. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. 3 models? I liked how the Farseer just sniped the Aspiring Champion there. Good shit, Farseer. Well done. Oh, I did build one of the shrines. Cool. Yeah, and then I accidentally built Chosen Plague Marines instead of Terminators. But honestly, it did end up kind of working out. Because the Terminators would have got minced. I would have needed Lightning Claws. Then again, I did have enough power to get them. I don't know. It's just that would have took quite a lot of time. Okay, so the Bright Lance is sort of chilling down there. Gonna go for a sneaky Gem Bash. But yeah, I basically have to try and hold the position in the center because I'm really low on VPs. One angry doggo edit later. So we can see how the CPM actually hold up pretty damn well. And the zombie models are really nice as well. Yeah, I did have to activate Touch of Nurgle to actually win that, but I won it. I won a straight up fight against the Farseer, Seer Council, and Banshees. I can't really scoff at that. He did manage to get that sneaky gem bash off, but it's not too big of a deal. I've got loads of power at this point. That's not really the concern. I just have a worse army. And he has got to a position where his economy is just so superior, and I've allowed that. As I say, at this point, whichever way the game goes, it was already a situation that I shouldn't have got into. It shouldn't be this difficult. That situation where he hits tier 2, he instantly techs to tier 3, and so he's going tier 3 in a situation where he has double unupgraded Banshees. That's crazy. I should be able to punish him for that. I should be able to get the full gem bash off, and then he gets to tier 3 and he doesn't know what to get because he has no power. But that's not what happened. And honestly, even watching this replay, I don't really understand what I could have done to have prevented that or changed that from happening. As I say, going after the contested powers in the start, noding them up. Fetid did well in instances like this. He does last for a damn long time. Managed to get the tank out. Conveniently positioned Brightlands though. The CPM really did do quite alright. I was quite happy with them. Really solid performance. Now, those Banshees don't stand a chance with the support of the Predator as well. But the nice thing about the CPM is they don't bleed. Prob better than Termes, he says. Yeah, I mean, they do the job. But he just has so much shit to deal with. So many squad, such varied threats, and a powerful economy that I cannot combat at this point. Though most of his threats are melee based and are infantry based, so it makes sense to go for a Nurgle variant tank, which I think I do shortly. I feel like the CSM really fell off, they didn't really carry much weight. I've not noticed the webway gate here as well, which is quite annoying. They're all starting to come up now. It's not the kind of game that you want to be playing against Eldar, really, the capping game in the late series of a match. You're not going to win. Especially the Farseer, since you can just play it patiently, wait to set up an ambush, and use that infiltration plus speed buff from the gates, and you're a bit screwed. Nurgle tank proving its value here. The melee resist, making it take significantly less damage from the Seer Council. The regen and the HP, meaning that the attack really only tickles it. Fetid armor clearly doing its job once again though, controlling the Seer Council and forcing them off. But there's just too much shit. I don't have the economy to field enough units to counter it. Really nice Spirit Stones heal there though. I'm trying to whittle away his economy, you know, trying to bleed in with the Predator, but I just don't have enough units. You know, I'm being very careful in how I engage here. I'm trying to avoid retreating my units too soon. I don't want to lose all my presence on the field, because then I'm going to start losing MVPs. Wow, that was close. Really wide arc on the Brightlands. Very hard to get around. And the Farseer and the Autarch moving in, actually suppressed by the Nurgle Shrine. People always forget about that effect of it, but it is very powerful in combat. And there we see the Farseer's Gate ability being activated. And then they're getting suppressed again. Not the Farseer, the Autarch going for a sneaky rear armor hit, but the Nurgle Pred just don't care, man. It's way too tanky. So I'm dragging it out in a true Nurgle fashion. But honestly, it's just like one thing after the other. The Rangers are there, then there's a Brightland, suddenly there's Fire Prism. Sudden Fire Prism appears. Meanwhile, I can't field anything. I'm only reinforcing my CPM and a few heretics. I've not even bled models on the CSM. Yet I can't field anything. I just can't afford it. My economy is in absolute shambles. Look at that regen. It's pretty damn good. The natural regen plus the Nurgle regen. Wow, the Fire Prism actually managed to snipe a model though. That's pretty annoying, isn't it? Look at that damage over time. It's okay, I guess. It's okay. It's not a huge threat. The bolter change that we added to the Predator to make it do damage over time, that's the real thing here. That's what makes it great. So I'm getting the turret there. I was trying to get the last turret. I also got the Power Fist to help me versus melee in general. I'm using Touch and Nurgle once again. I managed to just snipe the Fire Prism with a rear armor Power Fist, and you can see how I did end up dragging out the game here. But it's just such a varied amount of threats, and my economy can't handle it. And I'm just slowly getting whittled down. And I just don't get any respite. Even when I win the engagements and I force him off and wipe squads, he's always got something else on the field to contest me with. So the Rangers are constantly poking me, so rather than being able to cap, I'd have loved to have caught this requisition point here. I have to be running around trying to deal with these annoying little Rangers, and then suddenly he's flanked me from behind. I'm like, oh great. I'm gonna move. I thought maybe that was just a fleeting auto because they are really quick. Nope, of course not. And once again we see the guided Bright Lance doing massive amounts of damage to my Predator. Such a powerful combination. But I recognise that all of his army is now on my side, and so I take his side. But I mean, really, in terms of what could I have done at this point, I mean, there's nothing. I can't build anything else. I guess the turret didn't work, but I wanted to get the last turret because I didn't expect the Fire Prism to die there. Quite frankly, the Fire Prism dying in this engagement was a misplay on his behalf. I used the line of sight blocker here to lure it in closer, and then the Plague Champion could get some hits with his fist. But that shouldn't have happened. That was a misplay. It wasn't a good play by me, really. It was a misplay on him. Once again, the Bright Lance is just always there in the back lines. A nice use of time field as well, just shuts me down straight away. Wow. Guided once again. Guided Bright Lances are so scary. So scary. Oh no, I should have been meleeing the attack. Whoops. Oh. I could have maybe won that if I meleeed the attack then, and therefore kept the Nurgle Predator alive. Maybe I could have won this. But no. And then the Plague Champion is going to get absolutely wrecked because he has Fetid instead of Pestilence. Man, that is hard to deal with. Really hard to deal with. And then there's an Avatar in the way, so that's pretty much game. Yeah, this was a really tough one. Really interesting strategy that he used. I mean, look, there's only one thing to say. He completely skipped tier 2 and rushed to tier 3. There's only one thing that I could do in that instance, and that is take my full army, move towards his gen farm, and bash it. But how did it get to that state in the first place? I definitely made misplays. I'm not sure if the Fetid Blight thing worked out well enough to warrant it. I think maybe it's a sound idea, but it's just something I need to work on in the future to make it a little bit more effective. I lost the Heretic squad. In fact, I lost 2 Heretic squads quite early on. And I think he really played me in the early game, tricking me into thinking that he hadn't gone for the build that he had, and I was a little bit too scared to go push against his gen farm. Really, that's what I should have been doing. I also need to remember, against Eldar, which are a race that really are very power intensive in tier 1, I need to be rushing these 2 contested power nodes as soon as possible and just noding them. And one thing that I just want to say about nodes, this is going to go on a little brief tangent here, but so let's just see the game finish. I mean, this is pretty much it at this point. Right, so power nodes. Why would you go after the contested power nodes on maps? So they give you 5 by default, and then when you upgrade them with a node, it ends up at 9, which compares to the 10 that the generators themselves give. So that's 90% of a generator. For all effects, all intents and purposes, that is as strong as a generator, right? So why don't you just go around the map and build a bunch of power nodes instead of building all the generators on your farm, and then that protects you if there's a sneaky bash? Well, you can. But it's 125 power. It's 125 requisition for that 9 power on the node, and only 100 for the same thing on the generator. So it's cheaper to go for the generators. So why would you ever bother getting the actual power nodes? There's 2 reasons. Either you're a race that builds all of your free generators really early on, and you still want more power, in which case you can't build any more generators because there's a limit to free, and so you have to go for power nodes. But that's not a reason for me as a Chaos player to go capturing those power nodes. That's a reason for me to go capturing the power nodes as an Eldar player, or maybe a Space Marine player if I'm doing a fast tech, or maybe an IG player. But there's another reason you might go for them. Even when they are just a normal point, they're giving you 5 power income, as we see here. So for me to go along, for me to capture that point and node it, that puts me plus 9 power, but it also stops my enemy from being at most plus 9 power, or at least plus 4 power. So the effective difference, the net change, is actually, well, whatever the sum of that is, I've not worked it out, but it's closer to 20 power difference between the 2 of you. So it's really impactful, especially against those races that really want to build their gem farm up early, get lots of upgrades in tier 1, and still get more power in addition to that, like Eldar. So that's something I definitely need to bear in mind. Yeah, really tricky matchup. I want to experiment more with this matchup for sure. I think I could have done a bit better. CPM did really good. I was very, very impressed by the performance of those chosen Plague Marines. If I was at an equal tech level to him, man, they would have kicked ass. Like, they were holding their own against Seer Council. Imagine how they do then just against Banshees. They did awesome. I would have liked some Terminator variants and to keep my Nurgle Predator alive, maybe a Havoc or so to control the melee blob. I think I would have had a chance then. Hopefully you guys found this insightful too. This has been Torpid, analysing his own defeats. And yes, I do get defeated. More often than you'd think. As I do get defeated more often, which should be happening a bit more now that I'm playing a little bit more, there'll be a few more of these analytic replays, which hopefully everyone, including myself, will find insightful. I just figured, hey, look, if I'm going to be analysing a replay of my own, why not do it with you guys, and you can share your comments below. What do you guys think about Nurgle Predators? What do you guys think about rushing straight through Tier 2 and going for a Tier 3 fast tech in a 1v1? What do you think about the performance of chosen Plague Marines? Finally, what the hell could I have done better in this game to have actually won it? Or is it just imbalanced? Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments section. Thank you very much for listening. That will be Torpid out.